back in a place to be, episode 104. Here he is, ladies and gentlemen. What up, John?
Mr. Chris Sheeler. How in the hell are you doing, buddy?
Doing good, feeling great, feeling life is grand, man. We've made it past 100 episodes, and you were on the very, very early episode number 4, and without your help and all this podcast would have never really taken off from there. So I've had a lot of great people behind me, and I'm very blessed and very thankful for it. And like I said, you've supported me along this way, and it's been badass, man, and I appreciate every bit of it.
Loved it. And, what's great is I've been trying to do my own thing. Not as successful as Southwest Virginia, Northeast Tennessee's #1 podcast provider, Mr. Christopher Sheeler on Shelor Select. But you can, however, take a little preview on The God Who Weeps. If you're watching live stream now, you're actually able to see this episode a few days before anyone else. So that's pretty cool. So if you follow me, you get to see us. If you follow you get to see us. It's double the pleasure, double the fun. Something about gum. Fuck it. So, man, 104 episodes.
Bro, never would have thought got this far, man. I mean, even when I think, was you, with the Hell Hades episode, like number 50 something?
Yeah, 50, 60 or something like that, where it was in the background jamming.
Yeah, and even then, it was like, wow, this is episode 50. This is pretty bizarre to me right now. I mean, I've said this countless times on here that, I felt like the first 4 or 5 episodes, I was just going to quit. Like, all right, I had my fun, no big deal. But moved on, man. And here we are. And it's just like it keeps getting better and better. We're in triple digits now, bro. I mean,
shit, yeah. That's what's up. That's what's up.
It's a good feeling, and I'm very proud of myself. And, again, like I said, I'm thankful for y'all. And because this is like one of the biggest things I've done with my life that, I took a chance on something and made myself put something out there where the whole internet would be able to hear it and, give pushback and negative or positive. And, before this, I've never done anything like that in my life, I feel like.
It's interesting. You get a lot of these kids coming up and they're like, I want to be a podcaster. And I was just reading about Stranger Things. And the guy that plays the sheriff, David Harbour, I can't remember his damn name for the life of me. But I loved him in Hellboy. But he was talking about how he appreciates that he was famous at 40 as opposed to these kids like Millie Bobby Brown. She plays 11. And she just turned 18. And the internet's like, oh my God, look at her. She's so hot now. And she talked about the negative implications of just like being sexualized since she was 12. And you think about these kids growing up on YouTube and what you just said about being vulnerable on the internet. A lot of these kids, they don't even know what not being vulnerable is. You don't come like to the table saying, I'm gonna throw myself out there and then get all this hate and have no basic shell to deal with it. There's an old Anderson Credo. Fuck them, they'll be all right. But I don't think like when you're 10 to 15 years old, you're not getting that in your life. You're upset that you've had your first heartbreak, your first crush, you didn't ace a math exam. Like,
no.
Things are very relatively different for you.
It's wild about, you always hear those stories that people or children who got famous real young seem to have the most, I don't know if mental head case is the right word but they have more problems, it seems like, at that young age, just because I don't know if the brain is able to handle that type of exposure and that type of pressure at a young age. And they grow up and does that make sense what I'm trying to say? They have more issues.
Yeah.
It's more often than not.
Like I was just reading an article not too long ago on Judy Garland and how she
Wizard of Oz.
Super famous when she was young, and the studio actually would drug them up with uppers for these long shoots, 24, 48, 72 hour shoots. And then when they needed them to, sack out for a few hours, they take them to the hospital, dope them up, drop them out. And at the end of her life, when she died of overdose, it was, or like a heart attack or whatever, she was taking, it was something like enough prescription medication for 20 or 30 people to like use. And, she died fairly young, like in her 50s. So, she had a rough go of it, and she started out young, and it can fuck you up, man.
How can that be legal that they would give I don't know how old she was, but would you say uppers and downers or whatever?
Yeah,
I mean, how could anybody even just do that? Or back then, I mean, what was this, 40s or 50s? Nobody
yeah.
really knew what they were, the damages they were causing.
I don't think they gave a shit. I mean, I don't think they give a shit now. It's just
That's true.
there's more people that are like, hey, cut it out, pedo. But yeah, you'll I don't know, man. It's a weird place. So again, getting back to that positivity of putting yourself out there, getting something good coming from it. I'm glad that you're able to do it. After you've defined and realized who you are. I'm still trying to figure out who the fuck I am on most days, other than funny and handsome.
Well, you're damn good at funny and handsome, bro.
That's what I try to do. What is it? I fucked up and fell down a lot trying to learn how to ski, and I mean, an hour in, I just went back, took my tickets, I handed the dude, and he's like, "What happened? Too easy for you?" I was like, "Nah." I said, "God told me that I could have three things." I was like, "I could either be handsome, good at skiing, or funny." And I asked him, I was like, "What if I was just really funny?" And the guy just looked at me like stone cold, like, I said, "Yeah, I'll just have my money back, thanks." But but it's being able to figure out who you are is a big deal, and like I'm doing it, you're doing it, and I like yeah, I like that cold honesty. But back into something more fun, man.
Do you think, all right, so we were at this cookout with some friends last night and we were talking about stuff like this. And it seems like more often than not that more people always say that, or I'm learning, we're speaking of learning about ourselves and stuff, that more people say, like, oh, I still don't have no idea what I'm doing with my life or what my
Right?
plans are or whatever, and, 30s and 40s and whatever. One thing that used to fuck me up was that, going out of college, when I didn't have a plan or knew what I was going to do, I felt like a huge loser. Like, I don't know what the fuck I'm doing. Like, I don't know where life is going to go right now. And I used to think that was weird, but it seems like, I guess my point is that it's really not weird because more people don't know than what I really used to think.
Yeah. I mean, it's right out of college. I was like, "Hey, I'm a manager now. I got a management degree. I can do managing things." And got into the job market, and they're like, "You don't know shit about thuck." And I was like, "Okay, thank you for that." They're like, "Yeah, if you like what makes you come in here?" Like, I was definitely trying to punch over my weight in certain jobs and trying to get that. And then it's like, well, what do you do? So I started out doing door to door sales, and figured out that if a company is going to have you put all your shit on your own dime and not pay you, I'm out. Like, that's too much risk for that. But then, I mean, there's a lot of people in sales that they're okay with starting their own business, doing their own sales, fronting up all their money, and then making all the profit. And I think that that's something that we've not been prepared for. So we just get thrown out there, like you're saying. There's no preparedness, and you feel like you've been in the structure. 12 years of school plus 4 or 2 or 6 or none, and then
Mm.
you're just like, well, here you go, get a job. Well, how do I get a job? Like, who do I talk to? Who do I do this? And they're like, well, that's not our fucking problem. We just charged you. What's the going rate for Radford now? Like
I think it's
40,
14.
14?
I think maybe 15. I can't remember off the top of my head. It's 14 or 15, I want to say.
Yeah, and that's so. Well, we'll go with 15 for easy math. That's 60K in 4 years.
Yeah.
It's 60 grand, and that's cheap. A lot of kids are graduating with 180,000 dollars in debt, and they're like, "What the shit? What do I do?" And they're like, well, my favorite was always, "Well, you're a college graduate. You're smart. Figure it out." Like, well, fuck you, man. Like, I'm good at this. I'm not good at everything, including finding a fucking job. Help. So,
Yeah. All right. So this says, all right, I might have been wrong on that. So just tuition and fees is about 11.5, but then if you go into personal transportation, book and supplies, then room and board. So if you're on room and board, it's about 26,000 with that all
okay.
together.
I mean, boom, that's 104K right off the
Yeah.
get.
So I
And
wonder if that's just for your first year, you would probably have to pay 26,000. Then after that, if you live off campus,
I mean, I
so
don't, I don't remember it
11.5.
getting cheaper as we got through. Like, I don't remember being like, "Oh, you can pay less money."
Well, that's true. Yeah, because I mean, paying for your apartments and stuff were just as high as probably.
It
Uh,
was, it was a little cheaper, doing the struggle. I think we were all grinding those minimum wage jobs while working like shit. Dude, I was pulling 50 hours, between 12 and 18 credit hours, working out, occasionally, you know, getting to have some fun. But
Yeah. We had a lot of fun though.
there's some stories running around.
We've talked about a couple of them on here, I think, but
Yeah.
yeah. Yeah, we would you say college was the best years of your life?
Well, no, because that means you're always looking at a certain point and basically aggrandizing it, and you're not doing shit all with your life. I always hated that. Like, were they good years? Yeah, they were great, and I appreciated them. But every year comes with its level of suck. Like getting old sucks. I'm looking at there's a new video game was coming out. It's called shit. It's like the final or the lost faith, the last faith or something. Give me just a second.
I was looking at one today called Starloft, but
Yeah.
you said did something. They had a little showcase today. I don't know if you saw Starfield. That's what it's called.
Is that the one that looks like No Man's Sky, but a little steampunky?
Yeah, like No Man's Sky
Yeah.
and Fallout come together and
Yeah.
make. Yeah, it looks pretty sick.
Yeah. But I mean, that's going into do I think college was best years? Like, no. I mean, they gave us a lot of fantastic games. I think it was a 360 was our big go to. And I think the PlayStation 2 and 3 around them because 360 was because PlayStation 3 came out and they didn't want to
I would
be
agree. Yeah.
yeah. But like the games now are just the graphics are incredible. Some of the gameplay and stories that have come out are immaculate. Not everything is Super Mario Brothers. Like growing up with that, I wouldn't say that the heyday of video games were in the 80s and 90s, but they had some great shit. And
Mm-hmm.
so you
Yeah.
take it.
No.
I
Yeah.
mean,
Go ahead. Sorry.
uh, so what about you? Like, what's your thoughts on it?
Um, everyone used to. It's one of those things that growing up, everyone always used to say, these are going to be the best years of your life and enjoy it. And it was, I guess, because I had that mindset that, like, oh yeah, these are going to be the best years of my life. And I guess I always was thinking that. And then, after we graduate, now that we talk about it, it's kind of, I agree with exactly what you said. That looking back on it, yeah, they were probably some of the better years just because we were all together, like me, you, Matt, Loon, the Dalton brothers, Raj, Frank, all of them. We could just get together anytime we wanted to, and
Yep.
it was always just like, who gives a shit on what we're doing? Really, it was just kind of get together and let's just go get a keg or a cheap ass keg or a 30 pack of Beast
Oh,
Light. And
it
just
was
play.
always a cheap ass keg, dude.
Exactly, and
Keystone.
it was just kind of like there was really. I don't want to say no cares or no worries, but there was kind of like that to an extent that it was just all about us just living for the moment and hanging together and, just living at the time and just kind of like, well, we're having the best night of our life. Tomorrow morning's going to suck, but yeah, and now it's kind of, when I look at it that, maybe it was some of the better years because, yeah, we get together, but we don't get together as much anymore. And
Right.
even when we try to play video games now, it's just kind of like, we had a Friday night thing going on there for a while, but that's kind of basically dispersed. And
I want to go ahead and blame Gears 5 for being a shit game. If it was worth a single fuck, we would still be playing. And because I mean, dude, we were playing Gears 1, 2, 3, 4 a little bit, but then we were playing 3 for a while. But 4 wasn't that great, and then we got back into 5, and 5 just shit the bed so hard that we just stopped playing. And there really wasn't another cohesive game that we could be about and get about.
that's a tough thing that we cannot find a game now that we all can play simultaneously and actually enjoy. We all tried Halo for a bit, and that wasn't cutting the cheese. And I
No.
guess really that. And was there something else that we were trying, or y'all were trying?
So, I mean, let's see here. What are the bangers lately? So, of course, Call of Duty. We're playing Call of
Yeah.
Duty, and I mean, some of us still do, but the issue was that Gears was one of the few games, and it still does allow more than 4 to 5 player co-op. And I mean, we were playing against each other in team deathmatches, but at least we could get the whole squad together. Halo does that, but it didn't. Like the new Halo was good. It just felt very arcadey, and like we didn't overly gravitate to it. And I was like, okay, that's fine.
Yeah.
And
Yeah,
then,
I think it's kind of what it is too, though, that we don't always gravitate to it because we don't. And for me, for example, me personally speaking, that I end up shitting the bed on a game, just sucking it up, and it just kind of gets frustrated. It's like, why am I fucking playing this? And yeah,
oh,
when you're not good, that's probably, I guess, with anything in life. If you're not good at it instantaneously, you're just kind of fuck it. I don't want to do this anymore. But I guess if you kept grinding and kept playing, and you get better at it. But yeah,
well,
I think that's part of it, that we're not good at it. Or I'm
I
not.
mean, watch your fucking tone. But
Your face at your moves.
that's those are fighting words, sir. You get into playing these games, and there are people that have dedicated themselves. I think the last time I was looking at not Elder Scrolls, but Elden Ring, and the dude. I mean, this was a game where people were talking about grinding through a Souls, like Dark Souls for you that don't know,
Yeah.
like a really just grinding through this epically large, difficult game, and then a dude crushes it in 2 hours. Same dude crushes it in an hour. Same dude crushes it in 22 minutes or some shit. And like he's
Yeah.
using legitimate in-game glitches, so he's not trying to do anything where he's manipulating the system outside of what they programmed. But he's just crushing it, going through. And these are people that are going through, and kids now, and I say kids because really they're looking up game tactics and strategies for min maxing that we didn't have access to and never even heard of. And so they're like, oh, I play this one game super well because this is what the elite gamers do.
Hmm.
And that's awesome because now people realize that it's just as popular as sports. And I think we kicked this ball a few times over the last many episodes. Well,
Yeah.
that's why colleges are like, oh, we're going to have an esports team. Why? Because we don't fucking hate money. That's why.
I told you Radford's doing that right now,
Yeah.
right? Yeah, they're almost ready to go. They renovated a whole new place out of Cook, and it's like top of the line stuff, like the fastest internet cables they can get. They got a guy that's basically the coach, so it's pretty impressive.
Yeah, what's less impressive is the fact that they didn't tag one of us in, like to bring us in as a coach. So I was hoping Radford would be a top tier school. I guess maybe next year when they reach out to us.
What do you think goes? And I don't know anything about this one. I mean, I don't know if you do, but if you were a coach of an esports team, what exactly goes into it? Like, are you a master of the game and you're just trying to give out strategies and how to execute them, like to the players?
So
What would a coach actually do? What do you think?
So the coach is probably going to be responsible for making sure that your setup is optimal for the game that you're playing. So they're
Okay.
going to be a technical expert more than actually a game expert themselves. Now, they need to be good at gaming. And I mean, you can't have a shit gamer be a good coach. I mean, anybody that's in the NFL or basketball, they've got good bones. They've played the game, they understand it, they got the rudimentary fundamentals down enough to where they can start expanding on these higher level games. So if you're playing a team based game, you're not only teaching these kids how to, and I guess young adults at this point because they're in college, but you're now developing not only their skills, like, okay, we'll do drills where I love one of them is you take a keypad. It's numbers 0 through 9,
Okay.
the old number pad,
Yeah.
and you move the mouse and you hit the 1 through 0 through 9 as your mouse is over a circle, and so basically you're doing shapes and drills. So these are drills kids do for fun now, and they're very good at having you kind of reflexively learn which key to press while your mouse is over what area. There's I mean, different. And I'm just talking about, well, that would work for real time strategy or first person shooter or anything like that. But, then you're teaching how do you set up, we'll go with StarCraft too. How are you setting up your favorite, I guess, race? So you have like the Zerg, the Toss, Terran. What are your best setup strategies? Are you going to be offensive? Are you going to be defensive? Are you going to be playing with teammates? Are you trying to help provide support? Like, you're going to be mastering how to teach these people how to elevate their game so that they're performing their specific function. It's the same way with any other coach. You don't have to be the best coach to teach a running back how to do their job, but you need to be able to point to them and say, here's where you need to improve. Here's the metric that you need to improve it by, and here's the process by which you do it. So it's an exciting field. So there's a lot of opportunity for people to really go in there and say, hey, there's tons of YouTube videos about people who are like, go through this, do this for anything, any sport, and being able to point that shit out. So I think that's the process they're going to go through. You're going to see them more like a basketball, football coach than somebody that's sitting down being like, hi, my name's Ninja, and I'm getting ready to own shit on Fortnite.
Yeah, that makes perfect sense. You know, you don't mind sitting, studying the game, studying every little detail about it, and then you know, just like you said, like sports, going back and watching the game film or video game film, whatever you want to call it, and saying, okay, you made this X move here when you should have, you know, did the Y move or whatever. Then you
Right.
should have, zig before you zagged or whatever. And it's just one of those things. I mean, that's what all the great elites do. They sit down and figure out what they're doing wrong. And like you said, you know, with button mapping, you know, now when to press their using muscle memory to like press down certain numbers at a certain time and whatever, making that connection between the brain and the muscle. And yeah, but yeah, it's wild that it's come this far. It's so awesome that actually kids now are probably are, you know, when they say I want to be a pro video gamer, you know, their parents don't look at them like, what the fuck? You know, you're not
Yeah.
going to waste your life. And now it's kind of actually like, yeah, dude, go try it for it. Get a college scholarship, bro. Motherfucking
Yep.
scholarship, baby. So
Real talk.
exactly.
You,
Yeah.
I'll throw out a random stat for you. So, to be a professional StarCraft 2 gamer in South Korea, it was like 2015, 2018, some shit like that. In your first couple of minutes, you had to make 300 individual moves per minute. That was like most gamers were between 240 and like your top tier were 300 plus per minute of like individual moves. Now, of course, they're talking about like, you know, clicking, button mapping, and things like that. But I mean, you're almost typing out full sentences by like hotkey commands and stuff as you're moving your mouse to tell your different units to go X, Y, and Z. And that's impressive.
It's very impressive. Is it one of those like labs or not a lab? Like there's, what do they have? Like there's, yeah, like a computer lab, just string of computers, and those people were just sitting there playing all day long. What do they call them? Like an internet cafe or video game cafe? And
Oh, dude, have you,
ain't that what they? That's big in Korea or something.
bruh, have you not seen these stadiums that have that?
I don't
So
know.
think about, you know, Lane Stadium or, you know, any stadium that'll hold 150, 200,000 people.
Okay.
And they have the big, you know, four screens up, you know, above the stadium so people can see it. But then they'll literally have, you know, two rows opposite teams of professional gamers, and they come up and they sit down and they fucking game, and you can watch it, and they're displaying like various screens and times and stuff that's going on. It's taken legitimately, and it's coming over here in the States because, I mean, shit. Again, like we're streaming it right now on Twitch. I hear Twitch is kind of a big deal,
Just a little bit.
and
Do
you know,
you think South Korea or China is the best country at video games? Like, if there was Olympics for video games, like, what country would be the best?
I mean, if it was hacking, China hands down. Like they are absolutely crushing it. So I don't know if they have time to play video games. North Korea kind of the same. South Korea though they tend to take more of a I don't know, democratic view of computing, where they actually get to enjoy what they're doing. I don't know. Maybe there's a I can't say that. There's a lot of hackers enjoy breaking into government systems here in the U.S.
Yeah. Speaking of that, you know, that training I was telling you about earlier, that they were talking about MIT and their stuff, and it was kind of like, they say like, yeah, we beg hackers to try to break into our stuff, and if they can, we offer them like full scholarships and a job at the end of their school year or whatever. It's like, wow.
No.
So, and I think other companies actually do that too, like Apple and big ones like that. Like they ask people to try to hack into their stuff. Is that true?
Oh, dude, Tesla's best story on Tesla. Dude hacked in, and he's a white hat hacker or white hat hacker, and so he had, you know, showed a lot of bugs, and he owned a Tesla, and he found out that the way Tesla interacted with their main hub is that they validated any of the vehicles immediately. So if you could pass through the vehicles OS, and I'm basically glossing over a lot of really technical bullshit because I didn't understand it. But he went through the car into the basically like it's the mother hub or something of Tesla and could issue commands directly to other Tesla cars. And he's like, holy shit, this is huge. And I don't mean like, oh, turn the lights off. Full autonomous control. And he was actually, because he had submitted tickets and he knew the security officer of Tesla, he's like, hey, you guys have a really big issue with this. And the guy's like, no, I don't. And he's like, I'm pretty sure you do. I'll prove it. And he's like, all right. He's like, where are you? And he goes, well, I'm at the house just walking around. And he goes, hold on. I'm sending your car to you now. And he's like, no, you're, and his car drove up. And he's like, how the fuck? And so they end up hiring the guy. And they fixed the patch, or they patched it and fixed the problem. But that was one of the, instances. There's a lot of ethical hackers. I mean, the guy that's been working on iPhone since the iPhone 6 jailbroke iPhones 1 through 5. Maybe it was 7. I don't remember which version he came in, but yeah, you used to could find a very good jailbreaking app online for iPhone, and it was just one dude, and he kept doing it. And he's like, yeah, this is how you make your iPhone not suck. Well, and Apple was just like, please stop. He's like, I'm not doing anything illegal. I'm just making a better product. And they're like, please stop, fuck it, we'll hire you. And he's like, yeah, I'm not sure. And then they're like, here's the kind of money we're willing to offer you. He's like, God damn, I got a job. So he works for them now.
Yeah, that's awesome.
But there's a lot of ethical hacking that happens just so you can see this stuff. And it's a lucrative career because, I mean, especially with AI and the stuff that's going through, that people are able to go and actually use bots to run, complicated DDoS attacks, as well as, how to, I guess, this is where I get a little fuzzy, being able to use different avenues for entry, not just, your typical phishing and shit like that. Mm-hmm. But there's a lot of interesting tools that they use, and, hackers keep getting better and better at hacking in, and, it's a lucrative career field.
Yeah, I feel like we need those ethical hackers. And I'm glad you said it that way. That my mind was not putting it together as ethical hacking, and I like that. Just because that shit gets in the wrong hands, obviously serious power can go down, and they're not going to give it back up. Didn't we talk about on here like the last time? Like, was it the gas line got hacked or whatever?
Pipeline got hacked, and they're like $3 million or some shit. Well, then all the gas prices went up in the U.S.
Yeah, speaking of that. Man, what do you? I don't want to change courses here, but what do you think when we see $5 a gallon here soon?
Motherfucker, I see $5 a gallon now.
Oh,
like today at the gas station today.
I haven't seen it that high yet. I think 480 something.
I mean, I would say drive around, you'll find it, but fuck, not those prices. God damn.
Hey, driving around, bro.
Nah, don't need to do that shit.
Do you think that I got a theory of working here, and I don't know if I've told you about it. I have, it's like I haven't. But you remember that gas guzzler tax they did, or where a few years back during a recession to bail out all the companies? Like you trade in a gas guzzler, and
you talking about that $4,500 bullshit?
I guess that's what it was. I don't remember.
First, I think it was Obama round one. And,
it was right back
like,
then.
Turn in your old fuel inefficient cars, and we'll give you $4,500 of government money. Yeah. I had a buddy that did that. He shouldn't have done it because now that truck would probably be worth like $1 million, but it was a big like 3,500 diesel dually Dodge. And he's like, wow, the thing uses too much gas. I'm like, how many miles you got on it? Like 30,000 miles. It was probably like a 10 or a 12. And so now, because of the chip shortage and everything, and vehicles being through the roof, and it being like an actual work vehicle, $4,500 wouldn't even cover the tires.
But I'm wondering if they're going to offer that up again for people to go electric and get an electric vehicle. I saw Toyota's starting to promote like more of that. Well, we have the most electric cars now. So come shop with us, or whatever their ad was.
They might, and I mean, no matter what happens, it's always us footing the bill for us to be able to buy this shit. It's taxpayer money. It's like the government does not have money. They just print it out and deflate ours.
Mm.
But I mean, I think they'll do something like that. But right now, the problem is that there's not enough. Whatchamacallit, there's not enough electric vehicles for people to be able to purchase. It's like, go out there and buy a new electric car and you'll get it for $4,000. Well, fuck, man, where do I get one? It's like, Tesla's having production issues as always. I mean, the Cybertruck is going to be coming out in 2020.
That's what they said. Yeah,
Yeah, the only problem is it's 2022 and I ain't seen no fucking truck.
they're still taking reservations on it too. I looked it up the other day.
Yeah.
Right. So I said, when's this thing coming out?
Yeah, I mean, fuck, Rivian already has a truck, and it's price competitive and far more attractive. And then you've got, let's see here, the Ford Lightning. So,
True. That's a sexy looking truck too. I was like reading reviews on them. I like it.
Ford has always made a very attractive truck because when you see it broken down on the side of the road, you don't want it to be ugly. That's fucked up. I shouldn't have said that one. So we're gonna go ahead and just the whole section. It's like, nah, we're good. Don't worry about it.
Sorry, Ford. We're just playing. We just playing.
So watch me end up getting a fucking Ford truck later, and they're like, what was that shit you talked? To be like, you know what? I'm looking good on the side of the road.
But do you think even if I don't know, I'm not intelligent enough to even be talking about this, but like, if we all went electrical, could our electrical grid even handle charging this many cars?
No.
Okay.
No, not even, dude. Ask Texas. Like, they can't.
That's right.
They can't keep old people hot or cold long enough to keep them from dying. And the electrical companies were like, "Well, this is going to be an issue," and the government's like, "Fuck off, it's not an issue." And they're like, "It's going to be an issue," and the government's like, "Fuck off, it's not going to be an issue." And then all of a sudden it happened, and they're like, "Why didn't you guys fix this?" Like, we told you it was going to be a fucking issue.
Yeah.
But then they're like, "Oh, it's the greedy electric companies." I'm like, that's the dumbest shit I've ever heard. Because let me tell you something. If you want to buy electricity and there's a company that has the means to supply electricity, they're going to give you as much as you're willing to buy. It's simple math. And so they're like, well, the grid sucks, and I think there was something to do. There's a multi-layered in this. Like, a lot of people shit the bed on this one really hard. But ultimately, it was just that they didn't have the system that was capable of even, domicile powering, let alone the fact that you're putting a 220 special hookup for each of your cars. And, you're drawing on that at night. Now, there's a lot of things that Tesla's trying to do, and I think other car companies are going to do that as well, is that you can basically get you get their power station, but the car will act as a backup generator in case of an emergency. So if you have it plugged in, it'll reverse flow.
Yeah, that's I saw that with the Lightning. It does it too, right?
I think so.
You can go up to your house and it's like a generator for 3 days or something.
And it's all depends on how much you use. I mean, if you're trying to, fire up the box, cook a big meal for a family of 12 and you've got 3-4 freezers going and you're running the hot water and shit, yeah, it'll go out in 3 hours. But otherwise it does give you the ability to say, hey, I got the lights on, it's an emergency. Now, what sucks is that if you are in a sustained emergency and they don't fix that shit, well, now all of a sudden your car's dead. Mm-hmm. So you're like, well, I'm stuck here now. This is where I live. Yeah, no shit. But
I was looking up the stat. Somebody I followed posted this, and I just pulled it up here, and it was basically saying groceries are up 11.9%, which is the biggest increase since 1979. Chicken's up 17.4%, which is the largest ever.
God damn.
Yeah, restaurants are up 9%, the largest ever. Fuel and oil, 107%, largest ever increase. Electricity, 12%, and that's the largest since 2006. Then it goes into rent, airfare, and services, which has been the largest since 1980s and 1990s.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're going to a recession, you think?
I mean, going means that we could head it off and that we wouldn't be in it. We're just not experiencing the effects yet as detrimentally as it could be. Yeah, what is it? It's a decession or repression. It's something like it's a recession and a depression simultaneously are going to hit. And that's super fun because of all the money that they've been printing since 2020. It's like 60-70% of all the U.S. dollar in circulation that has ever been minted has been minted since 2020.
Wow.
So, and I
Didn't
mean, you
know.
got like stagflation and shit like that are going through, and people are spending money, aren't spending money. You know, new video games being $70 as opposed to 60. Fuck you, Call of Duty. Bring that shit back down to a regular 60. It's been 60 fucking dollars since I bought goddamn Chrono Trigger. All right, that shit came out for the Super Nintendo. Cut
Yeah.
that shit out, man. There's a standard.
Taking this back to video games, just because we got off a little side tangent there, and I like talking about stuff like that with you, just because I like your opinions on it. I don't know a lot about it, and I don't keep up with it. But do you think that with the state of things and everything that we're going to see, like how when PlayStation made the PS4, was it PS4 Pro?
Oh yeah, the PS5 Pro and the Xbox, whatever the fucking they're gonna call it, is slated for 2023 or 24 right
So
now.
they are going to go ahead and do that, and
Yeah, because I just picked up the S because I was like, I'm not trying to find $500 box that they're gonna upgrade. You know, I've been holding out. Finally picked it up, and then they announced it like 2 weeks later. I was like, fuck.
where'd you get the S at? That was
I
pretty easy to
It's a
get, I
Best
bet,
Buy.
right?
Yeah, you can find them because
Yeah.
they
It
got a
seems like the
tiny hard drive.
Xboxes and the S's are more or easier to get right now, and PlayStation you still can't get them.
PlayStation only has the one that I'm aware of. I don't think they have a PlayStation Tiny.
Yeah, it's like they have a digital and a disc. Is all they have.
Yeah,
Yeah, and both of them are still you cannot get them. So
right.
as far as I know,
Yeah, and
just random.
yeah, I think the S is built off of similar architecture as the Xbox One Series S. I mean, the form factor is slightly smaller, but I mean, other than the chipset, probably a very similar. Again, it's 500 gigabytes, easy to throw together and say, "Hey, here, play a new system." Which I mean, it's still less in quality specs versus the Xbox Series X, but it gets the job done. I'm now current gen again, thankfully.
Yeah. You know what
And
game I've been playing
what you been
lately?
playing?
I downloaded Microsoft Flight Simulator on the daily Game Pass or whatever,
There it is. There it is.
and it's not. I mean, there's not really a lot. Well, there's a lot to do, but it's also not a lot to do at the same time. Like after you take off, like, it's like, well, I guess I'll. And it's actually legit. Like I flew from Charlotte to Blacksburg, I think, and it legitimately took over an hour to get there.
Yeah,
And I was like, oh, this is actually real. Like I thought I'd be there in like GTA flying, like 20
dude,
minutes, 10
it's a
minutes.
legitimate simulator, and
Yeah.
it's the gold standard right now for flight sims. I
It's a
mean,
lot of I have it like kind of on with a lot of help. Probably the easy or medium level, but it's intense, dude. Like so much little things, and I'm still trying to learn and get. I've only played it, 6, 7 times, but I keep itching to go back and play it just cause. And even if you use the actual live maps, I don't know if it goes off. I guess it would go off Bing. Ain't Bing's Microsoft?
yeah,
Yeah, like I guess Bing Maps, but yeah, you actually like flew over Radford and flew over my house, and the maps are kind of like Muse was actually like a flat building, but it still had the same outline of it. I was like, that's not Muse, but
like
yeah, it's kind of cool. It's kind of fun though, but then it's kind of like you don't want to play it for all day long, but you kind of, all right, I have my fix. I can go land this plane.
yeah.
So
We can hop in like to New York, take off, and be like, "Oh, where are you going?" L.A. and just see how it goes for you. Do some work, come back in a few hours, and see if you overshot it.
exactly. Well, like I was playing it tonight before we got on here, and like I was flying from LaGuardia to Boston, and I think they said like estimated like 1 hour or something. And I was like, I wonder if I just keep letting it fly while we go do this. And I was like, let's go ahead and pause it. But
Yeah.
but I was looking up stuff, man. Some people make these extravagant rigs, just for flying. Actually, it's like a
Oh yeah,
real legitimate cockpit, and they incorporate the whole. Now, even for racing games and stuff, it's like a legit racing cockpit.
dude. Flight sims and racing sims own the market in accessories and peripheries. I mean, the things that people do to set it up to make it look legitimate is beyond impressive. I mean, it is. I mean, people will spend 5 grand on a rig, and then they'll. What are you drinking, by the way?
Oh, it's called Howler Head.
Okay,
It's banana whiskey.
banana whiskey.
Yep.
Now I gotta.
Urban whiskey with natural banana flavor.
How? Yeah, I mean, we got to do that with some screwball and see how it is.
So it's not as powering as peanut butter. The peanut butter's got more taste.
Okay.
But you can see if this gives you just a hint of it. And you're like, okay, it's still whiskey, but just with hint. But
All right.
um, the guy Dana White, who runs the UFC, it's his
Yep.
brand, and
Okay.
it's almost as hard as to get as Buffalo Trace and any other
No shit.
$30 whiskey. So if I see it, it's just one of those things I grab it. So, but I feel
Cool.
like you can find that a little bit more easier than Buffalo Trace. But yeah. So, but
Uh,
I like it. You know, it's like I said, it's 80 proof. It says Kentucky straight bourbon whiskey, and it's just not.
there
It's
you go.
like a little bit of banana, but not enough to overpower the whiskey. And I dig it.
Nice. I'm doing a little Kentucky Spirit single barrel,
Ooh,
and
Kentucky.
let's see here. It's a low 50.5% ABV, so 101 proof.
Not bad.
And I'm not trying to get my McConaughey on because that was cute. I enjoy now that our press briefings in the U.S. have celebrity guest stars. I mean, to be fair, I feel like we should have been doing this for a very long time because who the fuck cares about the celebrity or the press briefings? But now
Yeah,
it's like, and introducing today out of Arlen, Texas, or wherever the fuck he lives.
he's
Uh,
Austin.
oh, that makes sense. Makes sense. But
But no, yeah, I saw that too, and I was like, "Is this legit, or is this just something kind of?" I thought maybe he was a plug in a movie or
right?
something. Yeah, I was like, "Okay," but yeah, I guess it was legit though, right? I don't guess he plugged in a movie.
I mean, it was in fact a legitimate United States taxpayer paid for service announcement.
Is that trying to get more what ratings? It's like, oh, we got Matthew McConaughey. You know, I like Matthew McConaughey in his movies and stuff. Don't get me
Yeah, I
wrong,
like him
but
as an actor.
yeah, but I mean, you know, I mean, I don't know. Are we living in a fantasy land? I mean, where are we going with? You know, we had Donald Trump president. Now we're just going to have this whatever celebrity want to and start running. Isn't The Rock talking about running for president? I mean, is
Yeah.
this
Oh, he
this
was
thing
talking
hard?
in 2020. Like,
Yeah,
I mean, it'd be fun to see him. But I mean, we've had celebrity presidents. Reagan was a celebrity president. California's best governor, in my opinion, was you know
yeah. Schwarzenegger.
the governor.
Yeah,
You know,
yeah. It's just, is it a joke anymore? Just all right, whoever just wants to go do it, just somebody go do it. Or,
I think so. I think that's just like people are
or
tired of bullshit, but they want to hear it in a brand new flavor and wrapper.
it's just one of those old, like exactly. It's just a bullshit. Is it a bullshit job? And it's just like, all right, whoever just wants to come do it now and just hate their life and go through this. I mean, I feel like a lot of people legitimately probably go through the process of actually wanting to help out and change things and make them better. But, you know, corrupt government gets a hold of them and then they go down this whole negative spiral and they turn into this person they never intended they were going to be. And I don't know, maybe that's just me generally speaking, but I feel like that's kind of how it seems like the normal path of all these politicians go. You know, Nancy Pelosi with the insider trading now, making millions of dollars, and
Per trade, which is awesome. I
her
mean,
husband was doing it. Was she doing it or her husband? I can't remember.
both. I mean, like her husband. So it was her and or her husband that bought a shitload of Tesla stock right before. It was literally the day before they awarded the government contract,
Yeah.
and it jumped up. So they made, I think it was like a smooth 100 million or something. Nothing crazy, but he just invested like 2.1 million in another stock. I think last week before, and all this stuff is public knowledge. But the problem is they post it. I think the cycle's every week or three, like somewhere in there. But there's no other group that, I mean, they made insider trading absolutely illegal, but then you get Congress, and they're like, but not us. I mean, fuck, man, like we need to make money. It's the only government gig where you can make 200K a year and in 6 years have $7-8 million in the bank, and it's like,
Yeah, it makes zero sense. I think somebody looked it up. I can't remember who was talking about it. I forgot her annual salary. Her government salary was a couple hundred grand a year.
yeah,
She's a
senators only make a
yeah,
couple mil.
multi-millionaire.
Oh yeah,
What the fuck? It's like, what the fuck, bro?
I mean it's all of them up there. There's not a I've never met a poor congressman after about 4 6 years in. They're like, well, I'm doing okay. It's like, I
Yeah, I
fucking
bet,
bet you are.
I bet you are, man. I mean, but even speaking about ethical hacking and doing that type, I mean, is it just a person just becomes so like just watching out for me now, just so narcissist or narcissism that just watching out for number one. It's all about me. Who cares what everyone else thinks about me as long as I'm rich? Is that just part of the process? I
Maybe.
don't. I
I
don't
mean,
know, man.
was it power corrupts? Absolute power corrupts. Absolutely. It's a tried and true thing. You get in these places and you see these individuals, regardless of if they're the number one basketball player or number one football player, or, best at bullshit in the country, and they're the lead of the House or the Senate at any given time. I mean, these people, they're considered the best in their career and what they do, and they're making an assload of money. So yeah, they're probably going to be cocky. I mean, there's honestly no reason for them not to be.
I get that. I mean, I understand that. And if you come from doing that stuff and making that type of money, I get it. But as far as cheating everybody else and doing the insider stuff and it's just stacking the deck,
Hey, hey,
but it's one of those things that if somebody came to me tomorrow morning and said, "Hey, dude, if you invest $10,000 into stock, Sheeler Select, I guarantee you we'll
coming in
triple it."
2024.
But I mean, like, what am I going to be like? "Oh," like, you're going to look it up, like, is this guy legit or whatever? It's like, is that an insider move? Is that insider trading? Like, he's like, oh, I
I
got some
mean,
specs that some people,
so if they have
Spotify's going to come
any,
buy your podcast.
yeah, if they have any information that is not publicly accessible, then it's insider trading,
Sure.
and it can be it's a pretty slippery slope to try to prove that it wasn't. But again, if you're in Congress, it's like, yep, it was insider trading. And they're like moving right along.
You still mess with stocks and Bitcoin? You don't have to
Uh,
talk about. You don't have to answer if you don't want to, but
well, I mean, I still I futz a little bit with Ethereum still,
yeah.
and I mean, of course, there was the trying to buy the Doge low, when it was low. And of course, I sold some Doge. I think it was shit. I don't think I even had like a week between when I sold Doge and it jumped up 10,000%. Could have Ralphed on that one. It's like, yeah, I had like $100 worth of Doge, but it had been worth like 10 grand. I wouldn't have hated that,
You
but
ever started messing with NFTs yet?
fuck no. Like, I like the idea of NFTs because people in video games spend a shitload of money for fancy skins. And from that aspect, I realize that people like to peacock. They always have. They like shiny things. They like foily things. They want the new. They want the biggest, the brightest, the best. Everybody's like, big Texas, big America energy. We still have the number one export in the U.S. is culture. People say what you will, like we're bitching about gas prices and stuff. We're talking about how everything's awful,
Good
but
point.
still, everybody wants to get on that American dollar. They want to be here. They want to do this stuff. And now, is that going to be the case in the next couple of years? We'll see. It depends on if we really hit kind of this next level of monetary fuckery that's happening through. But I still think that we hold a strong appeal for what the American lifestyle is because again, we're sitting in air conditioned rooms, we're on a high speed internet, which a lot of places now, a lot of other countries are having that, but every time a war breaks out, it's not fucking here, it's some other
True.
place.
True.
And what is it? George Carlin said years ago, with a lot of brown people, we really love bombing brown people, and it's fucked up.
It
But it's
is.
it's always like some third world country that we're like, oh, we're gonna, or I don't know, we might get second if China tries to take over. How do I put this? The area that self-identifies as Taiwan, because China says it's them, Taiwan says it isn't, and if you ask any American film studio, Taiwan is definitely a part of China. If you ask Taiwan, it fucking isn't. So it's gonna be interesting.
I like your point on our biggest export is culture. I never thought about it that way, but it makes a lot of sense. And even though that speaking of China, don't didn't they take one of the Marvel movies and change fuck, like it was a Tibetan character
Yeah,
who Doctor Strange goes and sees or whatever, but they made it something different in China. I'm butchering this completely, so sorry, folks.
I mean
But
they've
but yeah,
what
China was like, nah, we don't want this because they don't like somebody. It was I can't remember.
I mean, which Marvel movie do you mean?
I
Because
feel like it was the Doctor Strange movie where
oh no, they changed that one. They changed Black Panther. They changed Shang-Chi. They changed Mulan. I'm just talking about Disney films at this point. Each and every one of them has had specific Chinese edits. Like Black Panther, you actually see. God, why am I blanking on that dude's name? T'Challa. May he rest in peace. Fuck, what is that dude's name? The main character. Chadwick Boseman. Holy fuck. I was like, how did I blank?
Yeah.
I was like, how the fuck did I blank on that? Yeah, so he's on the poster in America. Like, it's his face, Black Panther. Well, in the Chinese poster, his face is covered up with a Black Panther outfit because they didn't want the poster to be starring a African American lead role. So that was a big one. Yeah. They're like, no, you can find out he's black when you watch the film. But
I didn't hear that.
yeah, there's a lot of censorship that's happening right now, and Ricky Gervais has been absolutely fucking crushing it. I like to watch his I think it was like Golden Globes #5 or some shit like that, where he hosted.
Yeah.
And he just basically bitches at everybody. He's like, if fucking ISIS had a movie studio, half of you would be on the phone with your agent trying to get a fucking role. So don't talk about politics. Don't talk about your tiny beliefs. He's like, come up here, accept your award, thank your producer, thank your guy, get the fuck off.
Well, speaking of shows and stuff, what are you watching now? You watching anything good?
So I'm not caught up on Stranger Things. I gotta watch that shit.
You finished it?
No, not yet. And
oh, you're not? Okay.
so I'm waiting until they do the full release. So I spoiled it. I watched the first 2 episodes, dude. But then I'm gonna basically hole up in a cave and watch the whole thing. It's just done. The Boys is out, and dude,
you watched this season?
So I'm holding off on the same thing. This whole releasing an episode a week.
I was hoping you had been watching so I could talk to you about it. Oh,
dude, you want to do some hashtag spoilers on there then?
I don't want to do some spoilers for people, but damn, man, this season is ridiculous as far as graphic and dark and the way they're going with the story. It's like, whoa, like I'm watching it. My mind's like, I feel like I can't say much, but because I don't want to spoil it. But I'm like, what the fuck? I was like, what? Like, I don't even know how to explain it, man. It's so good, but it's also so dark at the same time.
Oh yeah.
Wow.
I mean, there's a lot of stuff from the comics and how they were going to translate that, because the comics are much fucking worse. And as far as like the depth and dark, it's the same thing for The Walking Dead. Like there were episodes in comics, because I watched that shit before it came out on AMC. Yes. And I mean, the comics were immaculate, and they did things in that was it make a grown man cry? Like there was shit in that. I mean, there's no way AMC could have done it. You could not have greenlit that. And I mean, it's how it is. But then they've done a pretty good job from what I've seen the first 2 seasons. I will be watching season 3 of The Boys. Stranger Things again was great. I'll be watching that. I mean, try not to have a lot of time for just watching the media. Like, I'm trying to listen to audiobooks too and stay up on current events, because let's face it, we're living in a wealth of fuckery afoot. I mean, what is it? We're talking about famous people in government. I think the Ukrainian president was on he was famous and was running for president, became president, was famous, and then all this is happening, and he's still making movies and series and shit. It's like, man. So we live in a crazy time. What the fuck? Monkeypox. Like we have a brand new fucking
monkeypox.
We have a brand new pandemic every 2 to 3 weeks. Nobody gives a shit. Nobody's stocking up on toilet paper anymore. And I'm happy about that, because, with the price of inflation and everything, I can't believe fucking chicken's up that high. What'd you say, 17%?
I think it was 17 is what it was posted. This guy has his own podcast, and he talks about politics, current events, and stuff. And it's one of those guys, they were working for the mainstream media, and they're like, nah, we're going to go break off and do our own thing. And like, we don't want you to tell us what we have to talk about. We're going to talk about what we want to talk about. And so I can't remember if he's conservative or liberal, but like he's one or the other. Then his co-host is the opposite of what he is, and so they actually just have like legitimate civil debates and just kind of go back and forth, and it's actually just smooth talking. They're not yelling over one another, trying to get their points across, and it's just
hey, I mean this. No
Yeah,
shit.
exactly. They sit down and they actually do what we're doing, just talking shit out, and then they have stats and stuff, and it's really good. It's called Breaking Points, and so it's a good podcast.
Nice. Check it
Yeah, and
out.
it's really cool because it's just like, no, it's all about right wing. No, it's all about left wing. It's no, we just
Funny enough,
talk.
it's the same goddamn bird, but and they're all shitting all over the rest of us that are footing the bill for the privilege.
Yeah, yeah. So, but yeah, dude, I agree that it's we are in a wealth of access of information for sure. I mean, as far as streaming, audiobooks, podcasts, everything, man. It's like one of the best times if you want to learn something, know something. You can learn it. Now, I would probably be careful on where you're getting your information from, but
Yeah.
I mean, if you're listening to me about politics and stuff, you probably are doing a very, very wrong thing. So,
Who knows, man? Who knows at this point? It's all about the dollar. Like who is supplying the dollar for the message that you're receiving? And you're like, oh, me as a consumer. No, you're not. Like the consumer throws up the dollar to. I mean, unless it's a strictly paid for subscription, and they're not getting outside funding, which everybody is at this point. You're not getting an unbiased view. You're getting somebody that's like, hey, I mean, if I was getting paid a shitload of money from Remington, I'm not going to be like guns are bad, okay? I'm not going to say that. I'm gonna be like, you know what? Fuck yeah, I own 39 rifles, and they're all sitting right behind me, and each one of them has a slightly different feature. And not saying pro or anti-gun. I'm very much pro-gun, by the way. But it's you're not going to go, and if there's a guy comes out or a lady comes out and says, "Hey, I'm vegan," they're not going to be hosted by Tyson Chicken. That shit's not happening. All right, they're not going to get the funding because they're counterproductive to the message they're trying to send out. And
yeah,
so when you follow the funding, you follow the dollar. It's ultimately exactly what's happening. 2020 was a rough time for small business, but lots of big businesses made a shitload of money, crushing Target revenues, and so we rose on up. And then 2021, we had the great not the not the great leaving. What was it called? It was the Great Resignation. That's what they called it. And so people were just like, "Fuck it, I'm leaving the job. I don't need this. I don't want this. I can do something else, and I can get some of that cushy government subsidy to float me until I don't." So people were leaving out, and then all of a sudden there was this vacuum of jobs. Well, now you have people coming into new jobs, but they're still very much in that fuck it mentality. And I'm
yeah,
saying, the great resignation hasn't happened yet. I said you had the great shuffle of 2021. Like you're now getting a lot of people, and I'm seeing this in various industries, people who are, your workhorses, your rock stars, the ones that are really getting shit done in a variety of industries, have been put in a weird situation because they're now doing the work of all these people that have left. They're still there. There's not been, for the most part, a few places have been doing it right. There's not been this equitable adjustment of the people who are working there, and so you're getting ready to get the pillars to crumble. That's where you're going to start seeing a lot of the snowball effects. People are going to fucking leave jobs in which they were originally indispensable. Companies are going to start either shuttering up or having to pivot or backtrack in how much of a service they provide. And then all of a sudden, faith in companies are, beginning to drop. And stocks, is purely a faith-based system at this point. I think there was a new article was like, well, maybe the stock market's not bad. Maybe it's just how you view the stock market and your shitty opinion. The
what?
problem is they're not wrong. Like, you can value a company like you take Apple. Apple, I think at one point they were the first $1 trillion company.
Sure, they were.
So you can value them and you can look at all the metrics and stuff and say, hey, this is a great company or not. But the way that the price of stocks work on the stock market is if there's a shitload of people that want to sell and the volume isn't enough that the people who are selling are trying to do it, then the price drops because they're like, we want people to buy the stock. So the price goes down. Well, the same thing. If there's like everybody wants to buy it, but there's not a lot of stocks available, the price goes up. It's supply and demand. Simple. And public opinion affects that. People don't want to say it, or people do want to say it. It's not the only thing. I mean, a brick of gold is worth a brick of gold. If nobody's buying it, then, well, you're just going to sit on a fucking hunk of gold until people do. Doesn't change it, but it does change what people are willing to barter for it. And a lot of companies are seeing that, if they're missing targets, like Tesla, I think they're doing a stock split to be able to make it more affordable. I'm like, fuck no, they're trying to get more investors because they're not producing as much as they could. I mean, they're still coming out with cars and stuff, but they're not. Again, they're not pushing out these flagship projects like the truck. So, they're trying to get more capital to move everything along, and it's a whole big fucking system, man. And we're just a very tiny piece of it. And if you're gonna be conscious of where you get your news, you need to figure out where the fuck your commercials are coming from. Like, yeah, there's gonna be a toilet paper shortage in the next fucking commercials. 2 bears wiping their ass in the woods, bruh. I'm telling you, you do not have to search hard to figure out how that message is being spun.
Somebody at the gym the other day told me that there's going to be a tampon shortage now. I forgot what article she read, but she said she looked it up. I was like, what?
I've heard this one. Go ahead.
I was like, a tampon shortage?
Yep.
So, yeah, I was like, send me that article, but I guess I don't know. It could be. I don't know, man.
Oh, dude, that's a punchline. Wait, you thought that was okay? So, I thought you were gonna sing it to me, like all smooth.
I thought it's legit, right?
So there's a tampon shortage right now in the U.S. and the reason being is everybody's such a fucking pussy. And I was like, what? So I thought you were laying that shit on me.
No, I didn't set it.
I mean,
no, I didn't set that up, but I thought, yeah, it's legit, basically. Oh, wait, I guess I got a Google box right here.
So, I mean, I do know we have a baby formula shortage, and we have a, let's see, what else is fucked up in the country right now?
All right, yep. I don't want to manage my, whatever. A tampon, all right, so on CNN Business, here we go.
Oh, so it is legitimate then.
A tampon. A tampon shortage is the latest nightmare for women. Update June 10th. 404. Supply. All right, so the main headline, I'll just read this out real quick. Supply chain problems and inflation have hit virtually all consumer goods, but women who menstruate are now facing an added strain as a shortage of period products hits the United States.
Fuck. It's all, I mean, god damn, man. Like, there's just a shortage of something that we have, I guess, for a very, very long time not considered to be an issue. Again, like the toilet paper was one thing. Now the infant formula is another. Tampons going to be a fucking thing. And we keep getting shortages of things that are somewhat and fairly essential. Like, as a dude, I don't care about tampons, me personally. But, as like someone who has family members who are in fact of the, I guess the female gender. If we can go into genders, I don't know. I mean, fuck it. Like, like that's a legitimate concern because, there's tampons, there's pads, there's things, but, in order to not really have a very disruptive day for a lot of people, like you need to have these feminine products. And, people who don't want to have, I don't know, dead babies might be a fucking sore subject for a lot of people. So not having infant formula is a big fucking deal. Not being able to wipe your ass. Yeah, you get a washcloth, wash it out with some soap, you'd be all right. But, we're getting to the point now that there's some legitimate shortages that are coming through that affect people on just, more than the slight inconvenience. And,
do you think part of this is fear mongering, that they just
100
keep
fucking
people scared now all the time? Like, there's always a shortage. There's always something wrong. It's always.
And that's the thing, you don't actually know if there's a shortage when they announce it. You just know that the fear mongering and the buying process afterwards. I mean, all those people are like, oh, we're, now that it's $5, there's every fucking drop of gas you can find. But last year it's like, oh, there's a gas shortage. The pipeline was down for a couple hours, and now we're out of gas. Well, side note, we weren't fucking out of gas, but you had people going and putting it in fucking Dixie cups and plastic bags, and I mean this is truly, was it Churchill said the greatest argument against democracy is a 5-minute conversation with the average voter. It's like, holy shit, you see fucking people filling up plastic totes with gas. And I'm just sitting there going, like, how the fuck do they think they're even going to get it into their car? It's like, what are they going to do? They're going to take a little funnel, stick it in there, and pour it. And that's me assuming that these people are bright, knowing that they're putting, like, they're like, well, I doubled up the plastic bag and put the gas in it. Like, I've seen people pouring gas in fucking Kroger bags. Well, I doubled it up. Like, that shit doesn't even make it, like,
You're getting groceries. They didn't put a case of or a gallon of milk in that bag, bro. What the hell?
yeah, a gallon of gas, man. You know, and that's the sort of shit. Like, there's always something that's becoming a shortage, and you don't know if because they announced a shortage that they caused a shortage versus there was a shortage and that they announced it. And that's really where a lot of people's frustration are with the mainstream media. It's like, are you guys causing this because you're saying it, or are you reporting the facts? And all the media outlets have been doing such a shit job of reporting the facts that what the fuck. Again, nobody gave a fuck about monkeypox. It fell off the planet. We're 8 months into no, sorry, 8 weeks, 10 weeks into the war with Ukraine. So we stopped hearing about fucking COVID. Like the day he invaded the Ukraine, fucking COVID died.
Yeah.
Nobody heard about it. It didn't get spoken about. It's not a problem. Like, mask mandates were lifted. All of a sudden, we're supporting the Ukraine and shit. And I'm like, the fuck?
Yeah, I wonder if, because, and I know we're getting kind of short on time here, but I know, they try to throw out monkeypox, like, oh, it's so scary or whatever, but it's really not as bad as what the news made out. It's like,
Never is.
yeah, it's like you'll be okay. You might just, I think you get hives or bumps on yourself, and you might feel bad for a couple weeks or something. But then they try to make it like a homosexual kind of thing, because I think two guys got it at a rave in whatever country, and so yeah, it's like, oh, let's use this, and like, yeah,
Well,
it's scary.
wouldn't have AIDS in this country if that guy hadn't butt fucked a monkey. I remember that being a thing growing up, and I mean that for those viewers at home who think that I'm serious, I'm serious when people thought that was a thing, but that's not what happened. That's not where the virus come from. But please don't have sex with farm animals. You shouldn't do that, or non-farm animals. It's just, like, don't. Animal sex, just don't. All right, I'm gonna throw that out there. That's my line in the sand. Don't fuck animals and children. Like, don't do it. But other than that, consenting adults. But yeah, it's
We can take it home on that one right there, big guy.
and we're out.
Yeah, if people want to find the Twitch channel and stuff, let them know, bro.
Yeah. The God Who Weeps. I think I finally figured out why I'm weeping. It's because all this sad shit we're going through, and not enough video games in my life.
Boom. Boom. Not enough video games, not enough time to crush Netflix and all the cool content that we got right now, bro.
That's it. Trying to make a little cool content right here for you guys at home.
Yeah, but John, again, appreciate you doing this with me again, because without you, I wouldn't have many episodes, and you were one of the biggest guys that supported me on this project. It was right there behind me and supported me and helped me out, gave me feedback, pushed me. You're my boy, Blue, as they say.
Dude, it's been fun. It's been great. I get to get a lot of shit off my chest. I think it's cathartic at this point, and hopefully we can get some people interacting. I haven't seen anybody join the chat. I did a very shit job of putting up like, hey, we're gonna be live streaming this. I think we planned it about 3-4 minutes beforehand.
Yeah, that's
my fault.
But again, I'm very thankful to have people like you in my life to.
Yeah, man. Likewise.
Yeah, and I will virtually cheer you, salute you one more time.
Hold up. I got him.
And
I didn't realize how much this looked like a testicle. When I did that, I was like, hell.
And we'll take it home on that one. So, again, appreciate you doing this, man. Appreciate you being here.
Likewise, man. Thank you so much for having me on the show. And for those of you that aren't watching this but will see it, I'll be posting this at the same time that Chris does, again, on The God Who Weeps on YouTube. And it'll be, of course, Shelor Select and any other place where you get your podcasts.
Okay. Everybody, we're out of here. Good night and good news.
Yes, sir.
Recording stop.